First of all, I just want to say thank you everyone for coming and partaking in this. I think it's going to be incredibly valuable. My name is Christian Dadalak. I'm the VP of Training and Development for JCI Santa Clarita. For those of you that don't know what JCI Santa Clarita is, who is JCI Santa Clarita? Well, JCI Santa Clarita, in a nutshell, is a leadership and development organization that teaches leadership skills and grows people through community projects. And so, in a nutshell, what do? We build leaders and community partners. And we're a global network, actually, of active citizens. And we teach people how to be active citizens and not just be an active citizen, but how to lead active citizens. And so our goal as an organization is to be the premier leadership training and development organization within Santa Clarita. And so a lot of our monthly trainings that we do are focused on leadership. And so we want to teach those soft skills that are often they're really just not taught. And it's one of those things that it's more caught than it is taught. But we also want to make sure that we're giving people hard skills that they can use in their day-to-day lives. And I think right now, given the fact that we're all sort of hunkered down at home, this is a great opportunity to learn from Koren on how to make marketing videos from a budget. Because we also have to get our messages across, whether you're in business for yourself, whether you have a cause to promote or a charity or what have you. This will be a great training so you can learn how to do that. And so, I'll get myself and my ugly mug off the screen. I'm going to introduce Koren real quick. Koren is fantastic. This is what Koren does. He's an absolute professional. He's actually the former VP of video marketing for JCI Santa Clarita. And he's made videos for us for our monthly trainings that we do. He's a podcaster. But I'm going to read his formal bio because he has a lot of really great experience. And so I just want to make sure that I don't gloss over anything. So Koren is an award-winning video producer in Santa Clarita. He's a post-production professional for the past 13 years and specializes in creating content for home video entertainment. He has worked on hundreds of titles for major studios like Fox, Disney, Universal, and Warner Brothers. Koren is the owner and creative director of Video Bump, a video marketing agency. He also teaches cinematography at College of the Canyons and served for 2 years on the board of JCI Santa Clarita as a director of video marketing. So he's a professional. This is what he does. If you have a notepad, I highly recommend you take some notes because this is going to be some great information. And other than that, I'll hand it over to you, Koren. Do your thing.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Thanks for the introduction. Thank you guys all for joining. This was my first time doing any kind of webinar like this. So I thank JCI for the opportunity to create something like this and for the experience of speaking to a whole bunch of faces that are all staring at me right now. So this is going to be interesting to see if this goes smoothly. So making a video is really complicated. A lot of us go to film school for years, or it takes a lot of experience to do that stuff. But I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible and hope that it makes sense for everybody. I think the easiest way to do it is to use what we have in our pocket at all times, and that's our phone. So to get started, I want to open it up with a poll and ask you guys what kind of phone you have. So take a look. I'll leave it open for about 5 more seconds. Yeah, I think that's just about everybody. So there's our results. Let me share that with you guys. Looks like we are 83% iPhone, a few Android users. For the most part, the process that you do is going to be very similar. I use an iPhone, so what I show you in this demonstration will be for iPhone users, but it should be able to translate over. So let me go ahead and stop sharing that. And let me share my screen with you guys because I have prepared a presentation, believe it or not. There we go. You guys should all be able to see that, right? nod your head if you can. Yeah, I see some head nods. Nice. Okay, so yeah, once again, we're going to be going over how to create a video. It doesn't have to be a marketing video, but a lot of us are entrepreneurs, or at least creating videos to promote events or things that we have going on. So I'm going to look at it as from a marketing video perspective. As Christian mentioned, this is me. If you guys want to find me, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, at Koren Young. So you guys can write that down. That's your first note. And yeah, mention that you saw me on here, and I will add you as a friend for free. So as we all know, video is huge in the marketing world. You definitely want to have a video on your website. You want to have it on your social media platform. There's some statistics here. I'm not going to read them all to you. You guys can take a look at it. But as we know, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, second only to Google. So Google uses it big time for indexing. So when you search for something, websites that have videos on them are going to get priority. And a lot of people, including myself, if they have questions or want to know how to do something, we go to YouTube and we search for that first before we Google it. So you definitely want to have your videos out there. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of videos that you can make. For some of them, you might want to hire somebody like myself to produce them. Those could be produced commercials, explainer videos, company culture videos, event videos, comparison videos, safety training videos, interviews, podcasts. But then there's plenty of videos that you can do on your own. And those would be like just performances. You could do FAQs, Q&As, webinars, screen captures. If you were a vlogger, you could do vlogs, contest giveaways, testimonials. Let your clients do your talking for you. Behind the scenes tours and challenges, right? So we've seen a lot of the TikTok trends. We've seen challenges, the ice bucket challenge and the I challenge so and so to donate to whatever. But those are kinds of videos that that you can do easily on your own. Now, the iPhone and the Android have amazing cameras in them, but there's a special way that you need to shoot for it. I want to show you guys some milestone films. Now, there's been thousands of things that have been shot on the iPhone. The very first one that I remember seeing is called Apple of My Eye in 2010. It was a short film. It was shot and edited completely on the iPhone 4 within 48 hours of it even being released. So people got the phone and they made this amazing looking film. You can actually find it on YouTube. And I'll talk about how they did it in just a moment. In 2015, there was a feature film, micro-budget feature film shot on the iPhone called Tangerine. It had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival and it won all kinds of awards. And it was shot on an iPhone 5S. And in 2015, when they did that, that wasn't even the latest and greatest phone. I mean, that was already at least a year old. And I didn't realize this. Actually, Daniela told me that just last year, Selena Gomez released 2 music videos, Look at Her Now and Lose You to Love Me, shot on the iPhone. Why? I think it's just kind of the novelty of it because she obviously has a massive budget. Now, when you're shooting something on a phone, it's not because the phone looks amazing. Obviously, there's way better equipment out there. All of these productions had full crews, you know, a lighting team, a sound team, grips and gaffers and, you know, dollies and you know, the works. The cell phone was actually the most limiting part of it. But I think it's just kind of the novelty of it for them. But you can get stuff that looks just as good if you put that same kind of care into it. I want to share with you guys a couple of videos from people that we might know that have created videos using either their laptop or their phones.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Edwards. I go by the Mortgage Doc.
My name is Kelly Axon. I have been a harpist for about 24 years.
Hey, it's Graham Silver with Silver Tunes Entertainment, aka Driveway DJ.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tom Island. Happy May the 4th. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Hi, everyone. It's Liz Valentino with Keller Williams.
Keith Reno, Wintrust Mortgage.
What's going on, guys? Chris Wells, Remax of Valencia here to tell you about what's going on. We all know it's a little weird right now.
Hey guys, welcome to Brit's Beauty Room. I wanted to give a quick video explaining what's going to be happening in the next 10 days here in Brit's Beauty Room.
All right. Hi, this is Tim Blankenship with Divorce661.com. We're experimenting with some live videos.
Hey guys, Amanda Benson here with Ask Amanda. Just a little food for thought video today.
Morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Christian Dadalac here, Dadalac like Cadillac. Hope you're not getting sick of that yet.
Good morning, everyone. Anthony Bedgood, Keller Davis Real Estate. I want to talk to you about the cul-de-sac. I'm talking about the phenomenon that's happening on my head right now.
So yeah, definitely want to inject some humor in there. Now, today's topics that we'll go through for shooting videos on your phone, we're going to look at planning the video, selecting the appropriate location. Are you guys still able to hear me? I got a message that said that my internet connection's whack. Okay, cool. Selecting a location, lighting, audio, camera placement, your camera settings, getting yourself ready, recording, the recording process, thumbnail images, editing, posting the videos, and then we'll open it up to questions. So it's a lot to get through. Some of it might be easy enough to remember. Some of it you might want to write down. But yeah, we'll get through it. I tried to arrange this in a way where if you and I were just friends and we're just hanging out talking about this stuff, where I could pull out my phone and show you basically my process for doing it. But in between, I'm going to have some slides to kind of give you the background and the context. So I hope that that makes sense for you. So we'll start with the planning phase. Using the notes feature on your phone, or a similar one for Android, you guys can take notes of what you want your video to be. So you can think of things like, what do you want to say in your video? What is the goal of your video? Are you trying to sell something? Are you selling tickets to an event? Are you selling a product? Are you soliciting donations for some kind of a event? Are you just trying to stay relevant and putting out videos to say hi to people? And you can write out a script. So I like to write kind of a full script, but then I look like I'm reading a script, and so that doesn't work for me or for a lot of people. So what you want to do is pare that down to bullet points. So once I've kind of memorized the paragraphs, or the ideas of what I want to say, the bullet points are just going to remind me when I take a look at it. And you write that down on your phone. So in this case, the video would just be like, introduce yourself, I'm so-and-so with this company. Today we're going to talk about whatever. You might want to share a story. The other day I saw somebody, they were doing this and it made me feel whatever. Here's the problem. Here's kind of what I think would work. I want to hear from you guys. Let's wrap it up. And, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear what you think. Leave me a comment, whatever. So that's kind of like the outline for your video. So just make sure that you have some notes. I printed mine up on a piece of paper and put it next to my camera so I can glance at it. But you don't have to. Next, we're ready to record, right? No, there's a little bit more planning that we want to do. I've seen a lot of videos like this on Zoom and videos that people post, and it looks terrible. That's just not a good place to record it. This is pretty terrible lighting. So I'm going to wag my finger at anyone who does that and show you the right way to find a place to go, because it's all about location, location, location. So what I do is I like to take my phone and hold it about arm's length for me in selfie mode. So I'm kind of looking at myself on the screen, and you kind of walk around your house and you look for a place that has pretty good light. Now, this is my living room, and there's a giant sliding glass door there. So there's some even light that's coming through there. There's no direct sunlight, so it's pretty diffused. So I'm going to walk around and see a place. Obviously, with the window behind you, doesn't work. But this wall right there is pretty, it's pretty open. I've got a lot of junk in there because we've got some stuff that we're getting rid of after some spring cleaning. So all the eBay stuff will have to move. But this is a place that I thought would be good to record my sample video. Now, what were the things that I was looking for? Let's see. That is not me, by the way. It's just some guy that doesn't look anything like me. First things first, lighting. Find a room that's got lots of bright, natural light. iPhone cameras are good. They've got good computer processing to make the image look good, but the sensors themselves are tiny. They have to be, because it's the size of a toothpick head. So you do need a lot of light to make it look good. So you'll see that in all of Apple's sample photos and videos that they share with you after they release a new camera, it's outside, it's, you know, amazing looking stuff, but, you know, it's got plenty of light. Clean. Clutter doesn't look good on camera. And so definitely, you know, clean that up. If you can, put some space behind you. You don't want to be right up against a white wall. That looks pretty awful and boring. So if you can create that depth, that looks really nice. And lastly, dress it up. Don't be afraid to put stuff up on the wall, put a lamp in the shot, some, you know, throw pillows. Make it look like what you want it to look like. So, for example, when you're looking at me right now, I've got my laptop here, I've got my microphone. This is kind of the image that I wanted to show. If you're an interior designer, you maybe want it to look like how she has it. If you're an accountant, you know, there are different things that you want to show to have anyone that looks at that thumbnail image know exactly what it is that you do. Now, as far as camera placement, I mentioned walking around in selfie mode to see what looks good. Once you get your shot framed, you want it to be at least arm's length away. Do not have the camera right in your face. I know when a lot of people are shooting videos, selfie mode, they've got the camera literally a foot away from their face, and your face looks really weird and distorted from that angle. It's not very flattering, so don't do it. At least keep it, you know, 3 to 5 feet away from you. When you're shooting your video, decide if you want to use the front-facing camera, the one that's facing you, or the rear camera. I recommend using the rear camera. It's always going to be a way better camera. The front-facing one is just, you know, something there for FaceTime calls. It does work, but it's not as good a camera. And there's ways that you can use the other camera and still see what you're doing. Set it up on a tripod. If you have one of those adapters that allows you to put your phone on a tripod, they're really inexpensive if you don't have one, but you definitely want it to be pretty stable. You can prop it up on a table or lean it up against something. I've done that lots of times, but I think it's worth investing in a tripod mount for it. And lastly, try to keep it at eye level. A lot of us, when we're doing Zoom calls, we have our laptops, you know, like a foot below our face, and it's just looking up at you. Not very flattering. When people are talking to you, you know, you want them to look at you in the eye. You're usually at eye level. So that's usually going to be the best angle. Depending on the image that you're trying to achieve, maybe you want to look up at yourself just slightly or maybe down. You know, everyone knows their angles, but try to keep it roughly at eye level. I'm going to show you a little time lapse of me creating my studio. This is my living room there. You see that I've got on the right side of the screen my phone mounted on a tripod, and then I've just got boxes and bookshelves and, you know, stuff around, tables that are just kind of in the way. So I'm going to look around and see how I can dress this room up. So I've got this bookshelf I just took out of my office, and I'm just kind of putting some decorations on there that I think kind of look like the image that I'm trying to present. And I keep looking in the camera. I just put a light there. There's one behind me lighting up the wall, small little cheap light. And then I've got a nicer light there that's on the same side. You guys don't see it, but all the way on the right of the frame is that sliding glass door. So I put a light on that same side to give kind of a motivation for that light. So it looks like it's coming from outside. One more thing to notice, if you see all the way on the right of the screen, there's a wooden frame leaning up against a Gatorade bottle that's on a box, that's on a little table. That's a kind of a rinky-dink mount that I put together. So that's actually a mirror. And that's so when I'm sitting there on that piano stool, I can see myself in the mirror reflected from my phone because I'm using the front camera. And so it's not the best way to do it, but it just allows me to get the framing, and then I can walk around and set my exposure and everything. Next thing I guess we could talk about is lighting. You see I've got a couple lights there. I've got in the back there's a practical light. That's just a light that's a lamp that you'll see in the shot that's putting off a little bit of light. It's not lighting up that wall, but it's just to kind of look nice. I've got that backlight, but I want to talk about what we use for the key light. So there's all kinds of different types of lights that you can see here. I've got a softbox all the way on the left, a ring light, an LED light panel, and a spotlight. What's the difference? How are they all used? Well, before you determine which kind of light to buy, there are things that we want to consider. First of all, where are you going to put it? Which direction? I like to put it in a place where it looks like it's coming from a natural source. So you guys saw that I put it on the right side, screen right, my left, so that it looks like it's coming from the sliding glass door. Another consideration is the intensity. How bright do you want it? Make sure that it's not overexposed or underexposed. Hopefully you have some kind of control. A lot of lights do. The quality of the light. Some lights produce harsh shadows. Some of them are much softer, more diffuse light. What kind of light are you going for? Well, that depends on the image that you want for yourself. The size of the light and the proximity to you. I like to keep my lights as close to me as possible. You don't want them, far away, shining on you from across the room. I have my lights right now literally just out of frame, and that allows them to be larger light sources in relation to my face, and a larger light source is going to give you a more flattering, softer light. And lastly, the color. So I'm not talking about, red, green, blue, or any, like different color lights. You could get those, but even white lights have different color temperatures. The most basic way to look at that is like when you go to Home Depot, they're selling, warm light, cool light, but they're actually measured on a scale of degrees Kelvin. And so the warmer lights, the ones that we think of as warm, that are kind of more orange, are probably 2,700 degrees Kelvin to maybe 3,300. So somewhere around 3,000 is a warm light, where daylight, that bluish color light, is going to be about 5,500 to 6,500. So we'll say 5,500. I like to use all blue lights. I don't think you want to mix and match. You can. You'll see it, and it doesn't look as nice. So all of my lights are balanced to about 5,500. Some lights have the ability to change between a warm light or a cool light. I like when they do, so that way you can use existing lighting that's in a room and just add to it. Let's take a look at a little lighting demo that I set up here. This is a tiny little spotlight. It's about 2 inches in diameter, relatively cheap. If you look to the left side of my nose, you'll see a pretty hard shadow. It's because it's a tiny light, and so it's going to make a harsher shadow. This is a bigger light. It's a 10-inch ring light. It's a little bit softer, a little bit more flattering. Now, I did not adjust the exposure for these different lamps. I just kind of changed them. So you'll see that I get overexposed. I apologize for that. But it kind of shows you how much light they're putting out. Now, these are adjustable lights, by the way. Some of them are adjustable, some of them are not. This is my favorite light. It is a little bit more expensive. It's got a nice big softbox and a grid, so I can point it. It looks great. This is also a large light. It's a little more expensive than some of them, but not nearly as others. And now we're just getting way blown out and overexposed, because they do put out a lot of light. This softbox, I personally don't like it. It was inexpensive. It's a nice soft light, but it has 2 modes. It has on and it has off, and that's not not easy to work with. I like when they're adjustable, because if I wanted to soften this light up, if I wanted to make it less bright, the only thing I could do is pull it away from my face. And the further away you bring the light from you, the smaller the light source is going to appear. A good analogy for that is the sunlight. It's huge, it's massive, but it's so far away that it looks like it's the size of your thumb at arm's length. So it's actually a very tiny source of light in relation to the size of the sky, and the shadows that it creates are very crisp, very clearly defined. All right, let's take a look at the camera settings. Before you set these, you want to think about what is your goal with this video? What resolution and what frame rate is best for your different platform? If you're shooting a video for Instagram or Facebook, 1080p is probably as high as you want to go. If you're shooting for YouTube, they do take 4K videos, so maybe you want to shoot it in 4K. Another trick that I use sometimes is I can shoot a video in 4K and have it kind of pulled out to be like a medium shot. So kind of like how you're seeing me, if you can still see it, video of me speaking. And when you're editing it, you can edit it in 1080p, and then you can kind of cut to a closer shot and then go back to your medium shot. So you can kind of fake it to look like you've got two camera angles when you don't. It's one option to think about. Another thing is put your phone in airplane mode to eliminate distractions while recording. You don't want it dinging, you don't want it buzzing, you don't want to be seeing notifications. When I was recording my some screenshots today, it was just not the right time, and I was just getting tons of notifications on my phone, and that's pretty frustrating. I appreciate the love from everybody, but it wasn't the best time. Also, you want to lock your exposure and your focus. So there's a way to do that on the iPhone. A lot of you guys know. I'm surprised at how many people don't. When you're in camera mode or video mode, you can touch different parts of your frame, and that will adjust your focus and your exposure. Right. So let's say if you're in a dark room and you see a window, you can actually touch on the window that's overexposed and expose properly for the window, or you could touch a different part of the room and you could expose for that. And that'll adjust your focus and your exposure based on what you touch. If you hold down your finger, that will lock your exposure. So that way, if something happens, if someone walks in front of the frame, it doesn't change the exposure to match that. It locks it in. So once you find something that works for you, you want to lock that in so that way you have control over what's going on. You don't want your iPhone, as smart as it is, to make those decisions for you. And one more thing to consider, there are third-party apps that have better cameras than the camera that your phone comes with. One that I've been using lately is called Filmic Pro. It's $15. It shoots amazing video. It's available for Android and iPhone. This is not sponsored, but really cool app. Cool thing about it is that it instead of all the automatic features, which I on the phone, it fully unlocks all of the manual settings on your phone. So you can adjust your exposure, your image sensitivity. You can adjust your focus manually. Do you want to focus on something close? Do you want to go further away? You can adjust, let's see, what are all the different settings? Your resolution, your frame rate, if you want to shoot something on high speed so it plays back in slow motion. If you want to shoot it slow and then have it play back faster like a time lapse, you can do that. And it has a lot more settings for white balancing. So you're not just touching on something white and letting the phone do all the work for you. You're literally saying, let's expose it for at this f-stop and this shutter speed and 5,500 degrees Kelvin for the white balance. So everything looks really good. That's actually what I used in this demonstration. If you guys want to see it later on, I can show a demonstration of that. But otherwise, you can just use the camera app. Another thing to consider is what we call the aspect ratio. Now, that ratio is the width. So for a long time, I was very much a purist, and I liked everything in 16:9. So that's what you'll see all the way on the right, whereas it's a widescreen image. That's the aspect ratio of what you'll see in movie theaters. It's what we see on our TVs, and it's our computer screens. I thought there was no reason to ever shoot a video. It actually drove me nuts to see people filming their kids' graduations in vertical video. But over the last couple of years, I've learned to accept that most content now is consumed on a phone. People watch more videos, myself included, on a phone than on their TV. If you're watching, YouTube videos, it's going to be on my phone, not my computer. So most of that time, people are watching it in vertical mode. So maybe you want to create content specifically for them. So you can still shoot widescreen videos. You'll be able to see it on Facebook and YouTube. If your phone is vertical, you're going to see it as it's shown all the way on the right, where it's got black bars on the top and bottom, and your image is going to be tiny because it's only taking up about a third of the image. Another option is to make square videos. That's a 1-to-1 aspect ratio, and that uses up about half of your frame. So if you were to turn your turn your phone sideways to watch a video, it's going to look exactly the same size versus the 16:9. I like it because when you turn your phone sideways, you've got a much better image, which I like a lot. You've got the portrait video, which is great for people scrolling through Facebook or Instagram. So your posts at 4:5 aspect ratio are going to be great. And then you've got the story video at 9:16 aspect ratio. That's what you'd want to use for your Instagram stories, your Facebook stories, TikTok videos. So yeah, lots of videos are going to be at 9:16. For our demonstrations, I assume we're all using a computer, so I did the video at 16:9, and so that's how we're going to do it. I feel like audio is one of the most overlooked aspects of independent filmmaking and also video production, that people make videos themselves. Like even if they set up a camera, set up lighting, they're oftentimes sitting 10 feet away from their camera, and you can hear the room and you hear the echo and you hear the noise, and it just doesn't sound good. Microphones are meant to be if you can, use something other than your phone's built-in microphone. Okay, so some of the options are you can use a lavalier mic, which is a clip-on lapel mic. You can use a shotgun mic. And you can either plug it into your phone or you can plug it into an external recorder. I use an external recorder sometimes for the purpose of our demonstration. I plugged it into my phone. There's lots of options and different ways that you could do that. Another thing that I've done in the past is I record onto a second phone. So for example, I'll have my phone in my shirt pocket or in my jacket, like a suit jacket pocket. And I have the microphone facing up towards me. And I could be 10, 15, 20 feet away from a person who's filming a video. And as long as I'm either recording another video or I can put my phone into a voice recorder mode and just record the audio, and then you have the video separate, and then you have to do what's called syncing it up, which is it adds another layer of complexity, but it's definitely worth it because you're going to get a much cleaner sounding audio. I found, and studies have shown, that people are willing to watch a kind of lousy looking video if you can hear it clearly and it sounds good, more so than if they had than if it were the other way around, where it looks fantastic, but it's really hard to understand. So audio is super critical. Another thing you can do if you're setting up kind of a permanent station, you can treat the room to absorb sound reflections. So if you look behind me, I've got acoustic foam to absorb the sound waves. There are other things that you can do, just having a carpet instead of a tile floor. If you have a rug down below, it's pretty portable. You can hang moving blankets or anything that absorbs that sound is better than being in a room that just has like plain flat walls. Let me give you a kind of a little demonstration of different microphone types. These are a couple of mics that I pulled out of my sound bag. Starting on the left, that's just a handheld dynamic microphone for if you're doing like interviews and you wanted to be moving towards someone else. Those are shotgun microphones. Next to that, portable recorder with a built-in microphone. The black box there is an XLR microphone. It's a type of cable. It's a lavalier mic. A wireless headset mic that I use for teaching my classes. And then all the way on the right there is a cheap little maybe $20 lavalier mic that I bought on Amazon, and it has a lightning connector. So that'll plug right into your cell phone, and it doesn't get any easier than that. If you've ever seen me record a video, you know that I use several kinds. I use a shotgun mic and a lavalier mic, a lot of times at the same time, because I want a backup. You know, I have had times where one of them didn't sound good, battery died, it was in the wrong setting, the level wasn't right, so I always record at least 2 channels of audio. Don't necessarily have to, but I like to do that. And before you record your video, you got to check yourself. Make sure that you look the way that you want to look for the image that you want to present. Wear bright colored shirts. Don't wear anything with patterns, polka dots. That stuff kind of looks funny on video. Fix up your hair. Look good. If you're going to be wearing makeup, I think subtle makeup looks better than heavy makeup, unless you're doing like a makeup tutorial. But you know, you want to look nice and presentable, but not over the top. So in the demonstration that when I was setting up the room, I looked kind of like a schlub. You want to fix that up. There we go. Now we're ready to record. So before you do record, a couple things you want to do real quick. First of all, your cell phone has been everywhere. It's been in your grubby hands. It's been in your pocket. Your camera is covered in schmutz. Clean off your lens. Get that looking good. Okay? Because otherwise you're going to see streaks of light. People post pictures all the time that have like streaks of light in there, and I don't even think they notice why, but it's because you've got schmutz on your lens. So clean that off. 2, record a quick video sample of yourself, 10 to 15 seconds, just to make sure everything works. I recorded lots of samples, and then I tweaked the angle, and then recorded again, and then changed the lights and tried again, and made sure I got the audio plugged in and sounding good. But the last thing you want to do is record a 5-minute or a 10-minute video and then find out that nothing came out, or that something wasn't quite right. So definitely record a test and make sure that it's how you want it. If you are using the front camera in selfie mode, don't look at your screen. It's so easy to look at your screen and look at yourself, because you're kind of like maintaining eye contact with yourself and watching your mouth move. But we can tell that you're not looking at your camera. You're looking off to the side, and it's very strange looking. So if you can, look directly at your lens. You can see on the front of your camera, it's right next to your speaker. On the other camera, obviously you know where the lenses are, but it feels weird, but look right into your lens, and that allows you to address your viewers directly. And it's a and it looks like you're unhappy for some reason. I always look like that. Yeah, smile. Just reminded myself. I appreciate past tense me reminding me to smile. And lastly, if you mess up, do it again. Some of you guys have mistakes in your videos, and you just laugh it off and keep going, and that's totally cool. I can't do that. If I mess up, I start, it's frustrating. I stop, take a deep breath, start it over, do it again, and eventually you'll get it right, and you'll be much happier with it. So let's go ahead and record something, shall we? Hi, I'm Koren Young, and I've got some very important things to share with you. Okay, first of all, remember to do this important thing. Secondly, don't forget about the other important thing. And lastly, always remember to do this thing. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at this email address. Hope to see you soon. Great, that wasn't awkward. Okay, before you break down your setup, people don't think about this until it's too late, but you want to grab people's attention with a thumbnail video. If this is going for YouTube, if it's just going on Facebook or Instagram, you might not have that kind of option. But if you're going up on YouTube, think about your thumbnail image. This sample here, you've got a very excited girl. She's excited about something, don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. And then there's big text, and that's very eye-catching. So you can either take a photo or use a screenshot from your video if you want to. If you can, keep your camera set up using the front-facing camera and set up in portrait mode. And that'll help blur the background and pull you away from it. I didn't do that. 'Cause I don't think I was far enough away, so I just used the front camera and took a bunch of pictures. And you want to either look overly excited for some reason, because that's what everyone does, or you want to make a weird face or point at something. Like I said, I don't know why, but those are popular videos because you're identifying with somebody. People are going to be scrolling through YouTube and they're like, hey, this guy is curious about something, or he's excited about something. I want to be excited about it too. And then you can use an image editor. If you've got Photoshop on your computer, obviously, maybe you'd want to use that. But I use an app called Fonto. It's available for free on the iPhone. It's kind of limited because they want you to purchase some features, but I don't do that. I'll just use the free stuff. So let's take a photo. Okay. So I'm setting my timer to 10 seconds, and then I'm going to go sit there. I'm using my comically small iPhone 4S. It's amazing how that used to fit in my hand, and just kind of pointing at it. And you notice that it took 10 pictures. It's in burst mode. So now I'll walk over, take a look at my 10 different options, and find one. So let's see. No, dumb. Okay, good one. And so I'll select that one, get rid of everything else, keep just that one, and there we go. So I've got that image ready to go. Let's edit this image before we do our video editing. Just because we're talking about thumbnails, I'll show you guys how to edit this using Fonto. So first, let's go into the Photos app and take a look at your image. Press Edit and go to Crop. I'm going to crop it for 16:9. You can see down below the aspect ratio. And then adjust it so you've got your big face and a space for text. No, let's make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, okay. So we have some room for text up in the top left. Done. Close your Photos app, and I'm going to open up Fonto, spelled like that with a PH. You'll notice it's got ads in the top. Just don't click on them and you'll be fine. And let's import this new image there. Now adding text is easy. You literally just touch on the screen, add text, and let's type something here. Watch this silly video. Yeah. Okay. Exclamation point. And see if we can place this somewhere. It's kind of hard to see. So I'll change the color, make it yellow against a yellow wall. Yeah, that doesn't work so well. So I'm going to press Style again. Separate it into 2 different lines. And let's see if we can make it stand out a little bit more. So let's go to background and add some red. There we go. Now, I'm not a designer. I'm just trying to make something. I think most of you guys can do a better job than this. Tilt it a little bit. And there's still some negative space above my head there that I didn't want. So I'm just going to add something there. Let's go to Add Item. And it's got a bunch of social media looking things that it comes with. I'm going to choose one. Now I can change what that says if I want to pay them for an in-app purchase, and that's not going to happen. So I'm just going to change the thumbs up to like a YouTube logo, add this right there, and I'll call that good enough. So in the bottom right, there's that export button. Go ahead and press that, save image, and there we go. Our image has been saved. Now we can talk about editing the actual video. If you're on an iPhone, lots of video editing programs. iMovie is free. Avid might be free, or maybe I paid $5 for it. I don't remember. If you have an Adobe subscription, Premiere Rush is free for you. I'm going to use a program called the Video Leap on the iPhone. It's just like Fonto. It's a free app, but it has limitations. But it lets you do more stuff than iMovie does. And you could pay for those other features. I'm just not going to. If you have an Android, you can use Filmora Go, you can use Premiere, you can use KineMaster. Because I don't have an Android, I don't know how those work. I apologize for that, but editing is going to be the same on most of these programs where you're looking at it on kind of a timeline. Start with something exciting, if you can. If it's like a 10-minute vlog, maybe you want to take the most exciting part of it, put it at the very beginning, then have like your intro video, and then show the rest of it. Or you could just open it up with an introduction. If you're rambling, don't be afraid to trim the fat. You notice in my video I paused a couple times not knowing what to say. Feel free to cut that stuff out. And you can add titles, you can add graphics, you can add music, whatever you want. Let's take a look at the editing process. I'm going to do it in Video Leap. So let's go ahead and open that up. I'm going to click on the plus, find my video. It was about 1 minute long, and add it there. So here's my video. So obviously this would all be cut. Okay, so right there before I start talking, I'm going to go down on the bottom and then click on split. So you notice that it put a cut between that first part and where I started talking. And then I went down and went to remove.
Koren Young, and I've got some very important things to share with you.
Great. Okay, cut this. So I'll back it up until right after you.
I've got some very important things to share with you.
Okay, pause. Down at the bottom.
Okay, first of all, remember
Okay, so right there is where I want to start. So I'm going to split that. And that middle section, select it and press remove in the bottom right. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now it'll cut straight from
you. Okay, first of all,
good.
Remember to do this important thing. Secondly,
okay, let's go to the end of the third thing.
To do this thing.
And I'm going to cut that. So I'll pause it, scroll all the way to the right, click split, get rid of this awkward pause.
If you have any...
Okay, and right before I start talking again, split it again, and remove.
If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at this email address. Hope to...
Okay, and at the very end, I'm going to get rid of the junk as I'm walking up to the camera. So it's really just 3 clips that are butted together. I can click on the cut in the middle, and I can put a transition. So for that first one, I'm just going to put a dissolve. And for the second transition, let's do a slide. It's as easy as just pressing that button.
I've got some very important things to share with you. Okay, first of all,
okay,
remember to do...
Pretty seamless.
Please remember to do this thing.
And a slide.
If you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
Good enough. Let's see, what else do we want to do here? Well, I know that introduce myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in what's called the lower third. This is a graphic that I made in Photoshop just with my logo on it. You could use anything. You notice that the background's green. So I'm going to use that chroma feature and just pick out the green. It works just like a green screen. And look how cool that looks now. I've got a professional looking graphic in just a couple of seconds. Click on the screen again and add text. And let me just type my name in this terrible white font. I'm going to have to change that. So you can change the font style with the press of a button. Change the color. Let's make it black. No, gray. And just pinch to make it smaller. And there we go. So you see a red box around it. That just means that that's currently the layer selected. It's not going to output with that red box. So I have the layer with the lower third, the logo, and then I have another layer with my name. What I'm going to do is put transitions on it. So I'll click on the left side of it, that left arrow, and say slide in for the transition. I'll have it slide from the right, and when we're done, I'll have it slide out to the right. Okay, let's see how
Hi,
that works.
I'm Koren Young, and I've got
Nice.
some very important things to share with you.
Ah,
Okay, first of all,
they didn't go out together. So I'm going to extend it and see if that worked now.
hi, I'm Koren Young, and I've got some very important things to share with you. Okay, first of all,
Okay, so you could just drag and
hi,
click and
I'm
drag
Koren Young, and I've got some very
to
important
move the
things
start
to
and
share
stop
with you.
time.
Okay, first of all, remember to do this important thing.
Okay, so there we go. So you know, instead of watching me when I mention these things, I brought in a picture of a chalkboard, and I'll just have text on the screen for those three important things. So let's see how this goes here. I'm making the chalkboard duration long enough to cover up those two cuts. I didn't like how that looked anyway. So we'll just be looking at text on the screen. And have that fade in, fade out, as easy as just pressing a button there. There we go. So yeah, I'll slide it up, slide it down.
Remember to do this important thing.
Okay, what are the important things? I guess that was the important thing. So let's just type that in. Okay, and shrink that down there. Okay, and what was number 2?
This important thing. Secondly, don't forget about the other important thing.
Oh, that's right. The other important thing. Okay.
And lastly, always remember to do this thing.
Okay, so there we go. I'm going to add a couple of spaces to have it fill the frame a little bit better. And let's see how that looks here.
Okay, first of all, remember to do this important thing. Secondly, don't forget about the other important thing. And lastly, always remember to do this thing. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at...
Oh, okay. I'm going to need to add my email address. So just click to add text, type my email. Let's see, Koren at videobump.com. And shrink it down just by pinching. No. And it's kind of hard to see because it's white on light and dark colored stuff. So down at the bottom, I can click to add a drop shadow. And I'm also going to add a background just to have it stand out. So there we go. I can adjust
Reach out to me at this email address.
There you go.
Hope to see you soon.
Pop it off. There we go. Let's see, what else can we do? If we want to add music, the audio button on the bottom of the screen, you just touch it, add music. Now they have a lot of music tracks that you can purchase from them, but yeah, not going to happen. So if you click on artists, you'll load songs that are on your phone. What I had to do is browse my files and added something to iCloud. You can get stuff from your Dropbox or Google Drive, but these are downloads that I just put on my iCloud. It took 10 seconds. Everyone's got like a free iCloud account for like 5 gigs. And this is like not even a megabyte, so it's tiny. So let's put the song, I put it all the way at the end because that's where my playhead was. So all I have to do is click it, drag it to the beginning, click the beginning. Let's set a transition to fade it in and set that to 1 second. So that fade in is going to take 1 second. And just click and drag the end time and then put a fade out, also 1 second. And there we go. Let's see how that sounds.
To share with you. Okay, first
the
of
music's
all,
too loud.
remember to do this important thing.
Click on the volume and just drag
Secondly,
it down.
Don't forget about
lower.
the other important thing.
There we go. So I think that's good. So if you look at the top right screen, there's a button that says export. Just drag to your resolution, 1080p, 30 frames per second, and the video is exported. You're done there. So what's next? Next we get to the stage of posting. Now posting your video is going to be a 2-part process. First of all, we're going to do some stuff in the YouTube app. This is assuming it's going to YouTube. Obviously, if you're posting to Instagram or Facebook, you can use their rules. But for a YouTube video, you'll click on the camera icon in the upper right. Change your visibility to unlisted. I always do that. And write a catchy title. Write a good description. It's helpful if you already have your description written, like let's say in an email or your notes app, you can just copy and paste it into there. But after you're done posting it on YouTube, there's features that I've looked for a long time on the YouTube app on my phone that I couldn't find, that I had to do on a web browser. It turns out that all of those features are in the YouTube Studio app. It's a different app. And so what you do is you have to open up your YouTube Studio app, find your video, and then edit it. So click on the pencil icon to edit it. That's where you can upload your thumbnail images, because otherwise it's going to automatically select some kind of a screen from your video, and you don't know what that's going to be. It could not be a very representative frame. You can add tags, searchable tags that you can't do in the regular YouTube app, and then you could change it to public. So let me show you guys how that works. I'm going to open up the YouTube app. So I've got that here. Don't look at all my badges. There's a lot of numbers there. Comedy, Back to the Future, photography. It's funny what YouTube thinks I'm into. Let's click on the camera icon and select a video to upload. So it's just going to be this little 27-second video. It gives you the option to do trimming. You can't really edit the video, but you can start it and stop it at a different point. But ours is perfect. So I'm going to go next. Type in a title, something smart, important information. Yeah, all caps. And description, this is where I would paste something smart. You want to use a lot of buzzwords that people are going to find in a search. But for this, I'm just going to say, watch as I explain this important stuff. And upload. So it's uploading this video in high speed. Okay, then close out of that. Your video is uploaded. Open up the YouTube Studio app, or YT Studio is how they call it. And this is where you can edit it. So let's click on the video that we just uploaded. It's right there. That's the still that it chose. Not very cool. And let's edit some stuff about it. So I'm clicking on the pencil there. Down below where it says tags, let's add some tags so people can search for stuff. I'll put the JCI Santa Clarita and leadership training funny. Okay, what else? That thumbnail image, you can click on the pencil icon to edit that, and let's just edit our picture that we made. There we go. I don't see who would not want to click on that one. And then before we save it, click on the little gear box. And now you can change a couple more things. So the category, this one doesn't really fit under travel and events. Let's make this one nonprofit and activism. It could be entertainment. It could be whatever you want. And then you can make it public. And now we have just posted a video to YouTube. So I will open it up to questions. I know that we already have a bunch of questions, and I do have them here. Oh, okay. I see Alex wanted to know if there's an angle to make you look slimmer. Unfortunately, no. No, yeah, there are. I think that the worst thing you could do if you're trying to slim is have the phone close to your face. That's just going to distort yourself and make you look really weird. So I would pull away. As far as lighting goes, I guess I didn't mention this, but you want your lights to be not straight on. You want them to be like 45 degrees off to either side, and then up about 45 degrees as well. And what that's going to do is it's going to cast a shadow underneath your chin. So that helps a little bit of slimming too, so it doesn't make you look as big. And then also, we've all done FaceTime where you have your phone down like by your belly button and you're looking like that. That's not very flattering at all. So just if you can look straight ahead, I think that would be helpful. The dynamic Deb Martin wants to know what's the name of the app. Yeah, it's called Filmic Pro, Filmic Pro. Again, it's $15, available on iPhone and Android. Yeah, Brittany Barlog wanted to know if you can use the mic, the built-in mic when you're going live. Yeah, you could. I still wouldn't, but as long as people can hear you, that's all that's important. So yeah, I suppose you could do any of this stuff. These are just kind of guidelines and suggestions. Krista wanted to know the program I'm using to show my phone. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that I did for that. I actually just did a screen record and then sent it to my computer, and then I edited it into a video. But there is a program that I have that's pretty neat. So let's pull that up right here. Sometimes I have to do demonstrations of software for my students. And so I can open up screen mirroring, and that should pull it up like that. Okay. So are you guys able to see this? Your phone? Yeah. So this is actually we're looking at my own. Yeah, look at that. So that's one way to do things. That's an app called Reflector 3. It's available for Linux, Mac, and Windows. for having the logo made. Yeah, I just did that in Photoshop. I'm sure there's ways to do it on your phone, but I was just trying to find a way to bring it in really quickly. Yeah, okay, so Kip wanted to know why Video Leap over iMovie. I've just, in my experience with iMovie, it works great for editing, but as far as putting like titles on there, I think I have to use like one of their preset styles, and I like the ability to make it any font, any color, put the background, have it animate, different transitions. I just like the control over it. So I struggled with the simplicity of iMovie. I know Christian was keeping track of some other questions. Were there any that I had missed? Oh, and
I think you cut. I wrote down.
yeah, okay. Okay, Naomi Young, my mom, wants to know what length of videos are we talking? What's the longest you recommend? I guess that depends. It's different for everybody. If you're a podcaster like Joe Rogan, he's got like 3-hour videos. If you are talking about, if you're going live, like our own Tom Island goes live every day with conversations, takes about 10 minutes. That's a pretty good length for that. But if it's just something that says, hey, I want to invite you to an event or I want to talk to you about whatever, I think that 1 minute is a good bite size. It's the length of an Instagram video. So I'd recommend 1 minute videos. James asked if you record audio through a different device, you have to put the audio over the video in Video Leap. Yeah, you can import the audio separately. I haven't had to do that yet, but I'd imagine that it works the same way as importing the music and then having to sync it up. When you're doing that, you can have multiple audio and multiple video. If you notice in the video that I put up, that did have me talking and it had the music. So you can have multiple tracks. What I do, if you don't have like a clapboard like you see in the films, if you're recording on a separate device or on a separate phone, what you do is you just say, take 1 and clap your hands. And then when you layer them, you use that audio, the clap as your sync point. And you can move them, nudge it forward or backward, get it to sync up. And then once you have it, then you can edit that off. Whoa, look at that. Okay. And how can we adjust the lighting outdoors? If you're outdoors, you're usually going to have a bright, harsh sunlight on you. So there's a couple things you can do. You can use a reflector. I've bought reflectors for like 10, 15 bucks on Amazon. They're really big. And that changes the light from a source that's about this big, way up in the sky, to something that's like 3 or 4 feet and right by your face. And it's a very nice, soft, diffuse light, so that looks pretty good. If you can stand in the shade, that looks pretty good too. But then the same rules apply for using Filmic Pro or your built-in phone, where you touch to expose, because you want to expose for your face. You don't want to expose for the background or anything like that. Another question here. Brittany also asked if I record and edit a video, can I upload that to IGTV on Instagram? I think that you can. I've never used IGTV. I've watched it, but I don't know how to post on it. So that's something that I want to look up. Anthony asked, can you add SRT files to Video Leap? I don't know. I don't think so. But I've used those subtitle files before. YouTube creates them for you automatically. Facebook creates them automatically, and it's really cool. Anthony, is that what you used for your video to have your little on-screen text? No. Okay. Because that's a really cool feature, and I don't know how we did that, but it was pretty neat. For uploading your own logo, yeah. If you have your own logo in your phone, you can just import that within the program, within Fonto, or with Video Leap, or with anything. I had never used Fonto or Video for a couple weeks ago. The stuff that I was learning to put together this program. projects, just know it's going to take a long time. That whole process is just overwhelming and daunting.
Koren, we lost you for like the last 30 seconds or so. Would you mind repeating that?
I just said the most important stuff. No, yeah, I saw something that said my connection was unstable, and so that stinks. I was saying I actually had never used Fonto or VideoLeap before a couple weeks ago. I had learned those to put together this webinar. Most of what I do, I shoot on a camera and then bring it into my computer for editing. But a lot of these projects that I work on are, I know that they're going to take me a lot of time. And that process is just very daunting and overwhelming. And because of that, sometimes you never get to them. And so with the ability to be able to shoot something quickly on your phone and edit it and get it up in just a few minutes is, I think, would be very helpful. And so for me, I'm hoping that that would help me put out more content instead of being afraid to do it. Christina asked if you can upload your own logo. Yeah. So are there any other questions that you guys have? I'd love to answer them. You guys can either ask it in the chat or just unmute yourself and talk. InShot. Yeah, I had heard of InShot. Never used it. Any other questions? Nope. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I know a few of you that I had never seen or met before, and I appreciate you coming on and trusting a complete stranger to teach you about how to do videos on your phone. And then for the other 16 of you that came on just to support me and JCI, I appreciate you guys too. Christian, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. We did have two quick questions that I did see.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I missed them.
Yeah. One of them was, how do you use multiple audio channels?
Yeah, you can import them the same way I did with the music. It doesn't know that that was music. That could have been another audio track. So I would just put that on my iCloud or whatever and bring that in, or bring it in from your Dropbox. But yeah, that's how I'd bring in a separate audio track into VideoLeap. Not sure how to do it on iMovie, but I'm sure that there's a way, because you got to be able to layer sounds. And then the question about the recording being available, yeah, we could do that. We'll make it available just to the people who got tickets.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for coming to this. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. Thanks everyone for coming on. I'm sure that this was super valuable for you. I know it was for me. Now that we're all pros, I think I'm going to look forward to seeing all your guys' videos on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and we can all help promote each other. I did want to briefly invite you guys all to the next monthly JCI training that we're hosting on May 27th. That's a Wednesday from 6:30 to 8:30. And that's going to be with Jason Price. And Jason Price is, he's a leadership and training management consulting. He's a management consulting practice, very professional for those of you that don't know him. And he's going to be talking about leadership dynamics. So the 5 stages of team development, 4 best practices to maximize team performance, how to apply performance management techniques to team members, how to identify the top 2 types of high performers, and how to build a team that operates as a team, not just as a collection of individuals. So you can register for that on Eventbrite as well. And I think it's $5 for JCI members, $10 for those that aren't in JCI. And we'd love to have you on. And I think that's it. Just thanks for coming on. I know that was super valuable, and I look forward to seeing all your guys' videos.